think it is quite correct. Usually all my albums are about my own feelings and my own life, so everything from So 29 until Afterthoughts is always about things happening in my life or feelings that I personally feel. You know, I'm not really able to write about someone else or to just imagine to be someone else in any different situation than my own situation. So yes, Afterthoughts is for sure, it can be considered partially a second stage after Sense of Loss. As the title suggests, Sense of Loss, it's, yeah, in the title itself, it's something about the past. You know, well, I have today a sense of loss because obviously I lose something. While Afterthoughts, I think, in a way, it just puts everything, all the feelings that were there, they are all they're all moved, if you want, in the actual moment, in the present. So what happened in these 3 years, obviously, you know, I just wanted, after Sense of Loss that was so strong and so personal, I just wanted to have the time to live something else, you know, to just get the feeling of something else, and to just try to go over this sense of loss and try to live in the present. What I really like of Afterthoughts is that it talks, for me, from my point of view, it talks most of all of today and sometimes about tomorrow, but always in the perspective of, obviously, as for everyone, of what it was before. So if in almost all the previous albums I was always talking about what it was before, what I lose, what I remember. Now Afterthoughts is more about what's happening now. And the presence of the past, it's not much in the memories. It is more in how the past is conditioning my life today. And I mean, not only because of what we choose in the past, because, you know, when you just take different directions in the past, then in the present, obviously, you are living something that depends on this, on your choices of the past. While what I'm more interested into, it's how we read the present based on the past, and this means that can be in both ways, because we change direction, or also because we realize today that we are again in some situations or that we are again in some troubles, and it is not because of something happened in the past, but it is because we are this way now. And so, you know, you just put everything in perspective, because you think, okay, if now it's this way, it means that also what happened in the past, maybe it was for different reasons than I thought before. Yeah, the bench, in some way, it's. I'm not sure if I have any memories linked to specific benches, or I think it is more about the bench for me is a symbol of something, because, you know, usually when someone, well, for me, I always like to see people alone sitting on benches, for example, in public parks or in public places, and for me, that is really an expression of how we can isolate and we can think about what happened to us, you know, when you are with other people, but you're just isolating yourself. And so the bench is more of a symbol. Places, yes, absolutely. I am, well, in my life, obviously, I think like everyone, I'm very linked, I'm linked emotionally to specific places. In particular, probably one of these places that was very present also in Light Dark, and it's present again, even if it's not, even if not any specific way, but in my images, it's present also in Afterthoughts. Is a house that I had near the sea when I was a child. You know, my grandparents had a house there, and I spent most of my childhood in that house. And I think it is where most of my memories are related to, because I always went back to that house also when I was a teenager, and in several difficult moments of my life, I always came back to that place. During the winter, for example, when it's just isolated near the seas. So it's, for me, it really represents something that links my childhood, that is, you know, usually is always happy, but not always, to my teenagers years, even to my more recent years. I always came back there. Um, yeah, well, I think that what happened, well, for me, what happened is that the more time I spend on this project, the more time I try to find the ideal no sound sound and no sound songwriting, the more obviously I'm moving through different directions. And probably the main difference is about also my what I listen to in terms of music. I'm listening to more um, non rock in a way. I would say non rock music. So it means lots of folk influenced music or singer songwriting. Not the simple one maybe, but maybe some psychedelic singer songwriting. So more things that help me going down to the bone of the songs, to the bone of songwriting. And most of the new songs for the new album, they were all born not anymore, I don't know, on the computer from a sound or something, but just on the piano or on the acoustic guitar. And I really liked writing the songs in a more simple, more minimalistic way, and only after that just try to make the final song. So this obviously helps a lot to focus on the core of the idea and to just decide, okay, this is something I want to go on, or not, this is something not good. Yeah, well, when I was a child, the first thing I put my hands on was a keyboard. So I think that probably the keyboard in general is something I'm very linked to. Obviously, I'm more of a guitarist than a keyboard player or a piano player, but I always loved anyway the sound of the sound of the piano. For me, it's something that is really unique. It's probably the best acoustic instrument for my own tastes. So what happened during the years is that I was just more and more attracted to the use of the piano for composing. I always used the piano, and also in Soul 29, all the albums there was the piano element, but I think that is becoming more and more present, in particular because it's, most of the songs, I would say that the new album, probably more than half of the album was born on the piano. So I think it's naturally becoming a key element of the core elements of the songs. And Um, yeah, well, I think that in a way, Afterthoughts probably it contains more guitar, for example, than a sense of loss. So in a way, I feel that I just came back to some more guitar. In terms of sounds or in terms of solos, I think again it's just a consequence of my listening to different music. So when you just listen to a lot of music where there are more acoustic guitar or there are more odd sounding guitars, I think I am less interested in the classic screaming solo, and I like more to express a melody, to express something more meaningful with the guitar. For example, when we are on stage, obviously I still like on stage, to have the solos in the songs where there are solos, and maybe to just go free on them, because when you're on stage, it's a very different way of you have a very different way of interacting with people. But in the albums, I don't think I just think before, okay, I will just use more guitar, I will use more solos. I just try to see what is the best thing in my head that works for this song or that song. I think, well, for what he always tells me, I think that he he responded quite naturally to this kind of music. And as soon as he listened to the album, he told me that he liked the overall album, and he really loved a few of the songs. He immediately connected with a few of the songs, and surprisingly, they were the songs without drums. So he connected to the songs not for the point of view of a drummer, but with the point of view of the artist, of the musician. Working with him, yes, I think he has his very distinct and unique style, and I can hear that style in the album. But I think it is more in terms of the sound and the way he expresses himself, more than some cliches or some kind of some drumming that he repeats over and over. I think, yeah, he probably, what he wanted to do, he didn't want to imitate or do again what he was doing, I don't know, with Porcupine Tree or any other project. He just wanted to be the drummer of this album, and it was quite, I have to say, it was quite easy, because we just, in the studio, we just recreated a very easy-going way of working, so it was just me and him. He had the drums, I was the only one behind the mixer, so it was very easy to talk about art, if you want, between us, more than talking about, okay, here there is, I don't know, there are 4 chords round of this structure, and there is the solo. It's more about, it was more about talking about the art, and more about talking about what was the best for the songs. So I agree that what we both liked is that he was not just the drummer of the album, but he really wanted to be a very important artistic part of this music. Yeah, in my in my original demo for that song, I had this idea of the unexpected drums, and in the original demo it was more about, I think it was more kind of drum and bass, if you want. And what I told Chris was to recreate this kind of drum and bass feeling, but more in a more rock context, if you want. And I think that we worked a bit on that part, because we started, it was too much unnaturally drum and bass, then it became too much rock, and at some point he just told me, okay, I think I understand what you mean, and he just did it, and it was just the way, it was just the perfect way. So what I really like of that part is that for me it's a kind of it's a drum and bass part played by a rock drummer, and this is what I really like about that. I think it is both, because in Paralyzed, in the Italian part of Paralyzed, they just talk about something very very meaningful and very deep. Not to say that the rest of the album is not deep and meaningful, but being the only thing in Italian that we ever had, obviously for me it has a quite different. Well, it is different, and it is even more personal, obviously, and that scream, I think it is at the same time, is the consequence of what I'm talking about in the Italian part, and it's also a liberation, a sense of relief after that. So I think it is both things. Um, no, it's not linked, honestly. I don't think I ever wrote about my living in Italy, or yeah, the living in UK. It is more about the concept, the key concept. It's about uh, it's about realizing that when you, as I say in the lyrics, when you close a door, you you obviously you are losing something. You're losing something you don't know sometimes what it is, because obviously you are closing the door, so you're going in another direction. But what really struck me at some point is that after some time that you close the door, what you realize that you're also missing memories from what was behind the door. So you just say, okay, now I'm doing something else because I choose this direction, and you realize that for me the really painful part is that I realized I'm losing the memories of what it was behind the door. If I was leaving that, possibly now I will remember something else, maybe something beautiful, maybe something not beautiful, but I just lose possible memories of that thing. And you know, for me, memories are always very important, because we are, as a persons, we are the results of our actions, of our memories. So it was that concept, most of all, that I able to write in Italian, because it just came out in Italian.
Okay.